to start streaming, and we'll make a live chat, and then this will probably be a live chat. All right, so here we are in small town Honey Eye Falls, and we're going to do a real repair. This is a new series that I want to do this summer, just because we get, when I sit here and we get walk-in traffic, especially walk-in board repairs, everybody's got such a great story, and it's fun to hear. So this is Amy. So Amy is the horseback riding instructor in town. All right, Amy. I have a bad experience. I fell off a horse as a kid, and I never got back on.
Well, you're supposed to get back on.
I know. It's true. It's true. And I've not been on a horse.
Well, I'm right down the road. You can come on.
Stop by. Yeah, I've got like two.
You can change that.
I've got two little girls that are 7. Is that too young?
No.
Is it?
No.
Yeah.
No. I've had kids start at 3 and 4.
3?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh! Really? All right. Okay. So tell me about your 6S. So this is your dead 6S, and I hear you went to the Apple store.
Yes. So it died Friday night. It just refused to charge and then went completely black. No battery icon, no nothing, not when plugged in. Made an appointment with the Apple store. Apple plugged it in, ran a test, decided it wasn't charging, told me that I must replace the phone. The problem is my iCloud must not have been working. I haven't had a backup in 2 years. So all my contacts, all my photos, all my stuff is not going to come back.
Yeah.
And so when I set up the phone for the swap...
So their deal was turn in this phone.
Turn in that phone.
And pay, is it $299?
$299 to get the same phone with none of my data except for from 2016. And they have to keep that one. Right. Which I wasn't willing to do. So I ended up, just taking...
So you started that process, and then you kind of got into it, and then when you realized...
I was thinking they were just going to deactivate that phone and let me take it back with this, but gotcha. That's not the deal.
Wasn't the deal.
No, you've got to surrender it, and I'm just not willing to do that, so I took my phone and left.
Take this deal and shove it.
Yeah.
So you canceled that deal. So you told me this a few minutes ago, and what I thought was interesting is that you, in the middle of the deal, you said, hey, I you know what, I can't just let you have my data. I'm going to keep this, but I still need a phone, so I'm going to just buy it outright.
I bought one that I plan on returning if I can fix.
So the one that they had half quasi set up, the refurb that you were going to buy when you said that you were going to do the out of warranty swap, when you said, I'll just buy that one because I want to keep this one, they said, okay, is it $5.99?
$5.99.
Yeah,
yep.
It'll be $5.99, but you can't have this one this refurb that we've set up for you. We need that one back.
That we just took 30 minutes to set up. Right.
You can't have that one.
No, they had to take that back and wipe that, and then get me a new one, and then set me up with that one that I could pay $5.99 for.
So that's what's most interesting to me, that there was enough of a distinction, at least from the policy standpoint, that it wasn't okay for you to pay $5.99 to leave with what was going to be the $2.99 phone. Right, exactly.
And they said that the serial numbers didn't match the box, so something was
up with policy.
Was up, right.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So you did the $5.99 deal, which you can take back because that's the 14-day.
14-day. I did buy a brand new phone, so I was hoping that I could find someone to get this phone working, so that within 14 days. That was only yesterday, and take this one back.
Now you live down the street. Have you never heard of iPad Rehab until like a day or two ago?
I only heard about it when I put a thing up on Facebook saying who knows how to get data off of a completely dead phone, and the first 6 messages said you can't, and then people started private messaging me saying take it to iPad Rehab. So,
and you live down the street.
And I live down the street. That's
crazy. Yeah, and that's like a horrible fail for us.
I'm down on Main Street all the time, and I guess I've just never...
Yeah, I mean, we kind of hide out.
I never noticed. So, but
yes,
I was thrilled to find out that you were so close.
Yes. Alrighty. So we've done a little bit of pre-diagnosis for our real repairs of Honey Eye Falls series this summer, and so this is dead. So the first thing that we're going to do as we troubleshoot, and I'm doing this series because I like the idea that every town, small town and otherwise, should have, in my opinion, the repair shop. The place where you take your phones when things like this happen. And so I really, we do a lot of education and support, and we train other folks how to do this stuff, because this is fun. It's how you get stuff done in a small town. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to just ask whether or not this phone can boot, so that we know if it has a charging problem or a no power. Can it boot? So we're giving it the DC power supply, which I'm not sure that you can't really see. Let's see, let's move over chat, and we'll just move that over. And our DC power supply is right over there. Just got back from vacation, so things are kind of messy. So we're looking at DC power supply, and we're gonna prompt this phone to boot. And it looks like it is consuming a normal signature current consumption, so it looks like it will boot. And we just did this a second ago, and it does boot, so we'll catch up on chat and see what's going on. Hey, Paul Daniels. Got to talk to Paul Daniels and his amazing tool that he's up. Hello from Guatemala.
Wow.
All right. Glad I dropped iPhone 10 for the Samsung S9 Plus. Yes, lots of people. Oh, wait, Paul Daniels went to an iPhone. What's up with that? All right, so this phone does boot if it is on DC power supply. It has touch, so all of that's normal. While it's booted to DC power supply, let's just ask it, hey, can you charge? So we're gonna plug it into the charger, and on DC power supply, we can see, oh, I can't do this. The camera's totally spinned around. All right, come on back, yo. There you go, buddy. All right, so we can see that it initially charges, but then it kind of conks out. So right now it is not consuming charging current. That number on the bottom, that's very low. That's not really charging the battery. That's just kind of passing through the 5-volt USB. So this phone looks like it just has a charging issue. So from signature problems, what do we know about charging issues in iPhone 6s? So you're aware that battery issues with iPhones, and especially the iPhone 6s, are rampant, right? So did you, how did this escape at the Apple Store? Did they not put a new battery in and say?
No, and actually they wouldn't, because I had actually mentioned, do you think the battery could be bad? I was told that I could get a new battery for the 6s, and they said, well, you're not eligible to get a new battery because we're not sure that that's what's wrong with it, and because we can't get it to turn on at all, we don't know if it's the battery or not, so you're not eligible. You're only eligible for a swap.
All right, so what we've done is just put temporarily a new battery in here. There we go, and you can see that the phone is booting, and it is consuming normal charging current. It's actually a little bit high, so that when it hits up to 2, I think that's high. But it is able to boot, and it is able to charge this battery. So that is, what's up with that? So it booted up, and it's able to charge this battery. So we had the discussion with Amy here about, what do you do? And this is good for all repair shop owners. How do I know if this is just a bad battery or not? And the problem is that one of the common faults, the TriStar failure, presents as a phone that cannot charge a stone dead battery. So if we take the battery that's in there, which is a stone dead battery, and we ask the phone, can you charge this battery? It absolutely cannot. So the battery, the native battery, is back in there now. It can't charge that, and it's not going to charge that. So in my experience, one of the common ways for TriStar to fail is inability to charge a stone dead battery. So there's no reason why this phone, which appears to be able to charge a new battery just fine, it should be able to at least flicker on here to show signs of charging for it to be a battery problem. So in my experience, this is going to be a TriStar fault, and we're going to see if that's true by just changing TriStar, and if it is TriStar, then it will begin to charge this native battery. So that's the plan, because the other option that we explained to Amy here is that we could just give her the new battery and say, you're good to go. But my experience says that she'll be back here in a couple of days as soon as, that battery gets fully drained, and then it will not be able to charge that battery. So we're gonna go ahead and do the TriStar repair, mostly because Amy is hoping to go back to the Apple Store. And so you kind of had a little bit of a fit.
I was not happy.
A big fit or a little fit?
It was a little fit.
A little
fit. I stayed calm. I kept my voice calm, but I wasn't happy that my appointment, I was the first one at 10 o'clock and I didn't leave until noon. And I went through what I thought was a bunch of nonsense with setting up one phone that they weren't going to let me keep, and they didn't explain to me that I must surrender my other phone.
Right.
And then, for there to be no explanation about, okay, well, if you want to buy this phone, you can't actually buy this phone outright. You can only get this phone to swap. You must get another one. And, for there to be no attempt to try and get my data out of this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Did you make it clear to them that you had 2 years worth of contacts?
Yes.
Business contacts.
Business contacts, saved email addresses, photographs that, were meaningful, and I did make it clear, and I expressed my disappointment, and I basically got told, sorry.
All they needed to do was just stick in a new battery, and then you could have,
And they wouldn't give me a new battery. So I did buy the phone, and I'm really hoping that I can go back in and return it and tell them that iPad Rehab fixed my phone and that I don't need this one.
Yeah.
So that's my goal.
That's the goal. All right, let's see if we can make it happen. I mean, that's the thing that we were talking about. Like, I get it. It's that they choose not to do institutionalized repair, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that, even now with this phone, this is kind of a judgment call. It's almost like this is small town repair, because we could have, we discussed this, and you could have said, well, let me just see what happens if we just change the battery, and I'll give it a shot and see if I can kind of keep my phone charged. In fact, we had a guy once who came here from Amsterdam to do training. And we got to the day in the course where we covered this charging faults, and he was like, oh good, I've been waiting for this, because his own phone was in this exact state where it could charge, but not if the battery went stone dead. So it could charge except for not a stone dead battery. So he had been just carrying around this other phone, and he would just swap batteries between these two phones. And I was like, how long have you been doing that? And he's like, about 6 months. It was just, wow, over needing to do this one repair.
Right.
It was hilarious.
Right, that is pretty funny.
Yeah, so he ended up fixing his phone while he was here, and it was, just hilarious to kind of get out of that business.
Well, and even getting the new battery and getting the phone turned on long enough where I could have backed everything
right,
up
exactly.
onto the computer.
Like, let me borrow a battery so that I can go home and do this.
Just letting me get the data, removed and backed up, and I'm not even opposed to getting a new phone, but it was the fact that they just dismissed the loss of data, and that didn't sit very well.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They are not able, and I understand it's an institution. They're just not able to interact with consumers in a way that is personalized, which is the same for any industry. You don't get personalized service when you go to Walmart or any place else that's huge. But the thing that I'm critical is that they don't do a good job of letting you know that you have other options. So there's this entire, kind of way that their marketing department acts, which teaches us that, you void your warranty if, like, I'm voiding your warranty right now. I have a T-shirt up at the front that says I void warranties, and there's.
But the warranty doesn't do anything.
Yeah, the warranty's already voided. Is the moment that that a phone gets a drop of water or a crack or anything like that, it's already out of warranty. This phone is over a year; it's already out of warranty. If it was in warranty, they would have swapped it.
Right.
So it's if it's an in warranty phone, great. But the second that year is up, there's no. Nothing to protect.
Right.
It's protecting your ability to pay the $299.
it is almost a 2-year-old phone, but you know, I don't consider that old.
Yeah, neither do I. In fact, I've been using an iPhone 6, which is the generation before this, you know, up until fairly recently. All right, so this is your logic board, so we'll go ahead and, oh, look at the giant Diet Coke can. Oh, just a drinking Diet Coke. All right. Roy says that he had the same type of customers, Amy, here in Norway, and that we fixed the TriStar, and the customer took the phone to the Apple store and said it was fixed by us. They said it's good to see that shops have projects. That sounds good. I mean, do you need a signature from me?
No, I just wanted to make sure I was here. I'm just leaving it up here. It didn't require one.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. All right, so let's look under the microscope. So you said that your dad is a fixer.
Yes, he's an engineer and a fixer of most things, and an inventor.
So did you grow up kind of as a fixer? How'd you get grass in here? Is this hay? Oh my God, is that hay from horses? That's so awesome.
It's definitely hay.
Wow,
Probably
look at that.
from being in my pocket, which
Yeah,
is also
look at that.
full of
See,
hay.
that is so funny. Like you can. This is like
There's-
you know, like CSI. You know, like dun 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 dun.
The hay might have actually been part of the problem. I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
pretty funny.
yeah. No, this whole shop looks a lot like my dad's basement and his shop of fixing things. And usually it's hard for me to bring him something that he can't fix, but.
Well, it's tiny. I mean, he could. I'm sure your dad could fix this, but he would need to practice and get the right. You've got to have the right equipment. You know,
Right.
like the right size tweezers and the right size everything.
Well, he was thrilled to see how this would go. I told him I was coming here and was hopeful that there would be someone that could fix it. So.
We'll see. In the very least, we should be able to give you a new battery so that you can
At least
get your data.
That would be worth repairing
Yeah.
it on its own.
So we'll see what we can do. All right, let's pull back up our chat. You can let me know if there's anything interesting. Is that yesterday or is that today? Oh, there we go. Don't do that, Amy. They will hate Jessa. That's not true. So did you get the impression at the Apple store that they were well aware? Look at that, how hay can like even get under that
That's
the sticker.
incredible. And I usually have this phone in a case too, so it made it through the case.
Look at that hay that's in there. I gotta make that more.
It made it through the life-proof case. It made it through
Wow.
a bunch of things.
Yeah.
The life-proof.
Hay-proof case. That's
The
what you need.
life-proof is not hay-proof.
Yes, apparently not. All right, there we go. All right, so the chip that traditionally gets bothered by chargers that are not certified is this one right here. So tell me about the charger that you've been using up until you know, kind of the one that you've been using for most of the time with this phone.
At home, I use a certified charger. I'm not actually sure if the one in my truck is or is not, which probably means it is not.
Right. So funny, like sitting here yesterday was Kathleen from Maplewood Avenue. Same story. She had an iPhone SE and it was, you know, up at the front. She was like, blah, 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 charged in my car. And then, you know, and it's just like one of those kind of like buzzwordy things.
Right.
So charged in your truck.
Yes.
And then what made you think, this phone's not totally legit anymore, something's up?
It was acting strange for a couple weeks before it completely died. You know, it would get fully charged, and then within an hour it would be back to, 10%. And then I was leaving it on the charger a lot, and if it did die, it would sometimes take an hour or two to turn back on.
Okay.
And that was kind of the beginning of the end. And then one day it did that, and instead of showing me the battery icon that it was charging, it wasn't registering that it was even plugged in, and then it went completely black and was dead.
Alrighty. So, and you got that charger, you think, on Amazon, which is really, really hit or miss. Actually, the Amazon Basics chargers we dissected, and they, the ones they have on there right now were certified and had the kind of surge protector chips in it. But you can tell from the reviews that wasn't always the case, because it'll say things like accessory not supported, when it's a legitimate charger and things like that. That accessory not supported is a good tip-off message that the charger is not up. I have the SE as well, and I like how much better its battery life is. All right, a Trust Me Bro charger. Trust me, bro. Yeah, exactly. Trust me, bro charger. All right, so we'll try to make it so that we can see. So we are doing microsurgery. So let's make it so that when your dad watches this video later that he can see the scale of this. So we'll stick a quarter on here. So compared to the quarter, you know, in the sort of in God we trust, you know, we're putting the chip in about the space of truss on the quarter. So that's the chip that we're doing right there. All right, the old oil change for the iPhone 6s. Yes, that's one of the things I tell students, that this is just such a common fault that that pretty much every phone could benefit from changing this chip. It's kind of like become the oil change of the iPhone. That's crazy though. I'm surprised in their troubleshooting, like that whatever they did for troubleshooting, that they didn't kind of use the same approach, which is, let's see if the phone can boot. I mean, it's an interesting approach where if there's anything, it's almost like it doesn't matter if whatever is repairable on the phone or not. It's just if the handset has any problem whatsoever, solution, replace handset.
Yeah, they plugged it in and then they plugged it into, I guess, some kind of diagnostic thing.
Yes, they have this little thing called the MRI machine, which I forget what that stands for. Something cute, like mobile something something. And we had a student that had one. He was Apple authorized and he had it in here. This was a while ago. And we had this one phone that was so horribly fried. It was an iPhone 5. It was barely hanging on by a thread, but we needed to get data off of it. So we got it to boot and patched it up, but it looked like trash. And it passed that MRI, which I thought was hilarious. So they did the little, you know, MRI, and
they did that little test, and then they said, well, the phone doesn't charge, which
is true.
Is true.
Yep.
It doesn't charge, and they said, well, you know, there's no way to know why.
And that's true as well. I mean, it really is true. You know, like if you're not willing to troubleshoot, then, you know, like even right now, like we aren't sure that this is why. This is just what experience and evidence tells us is most likely, but this isn't definitive. What's more interesting is that their tool should, in theory, be, you know, they should be able to make a tool that can probe this, you know, kind of query this chip and say, hey, you know, Annie, are you okay? You know, and to, you know, be able to kind of get a more like, oh yeah, you definitely have TriStar chip damage versus, no, it's just the battery. We can't do that. So we have to kind of do experiments, and but they should be able to.
Yeah, and beyond telling me that it doesn't charge, which I knew, and that they didn't know why, which I guess is, you know, how can you know? They weren't gonna offer me anything other than a replacement.
Yeah.
Which would have been fine if my iCloud backups had been working, but I must be out of storage. It must not have been telling me. I thought it was backing up.
Yeah.
It has not been for 2 years.
Yeah, that's a common thing.
So.
Tech Out says MRI is Mac Resource Inspector. I don't know about that. Possibly. All right. Let's see. A racket pin on a vehicle. It's fun to work on. Sean McNamara says, I don't know about you guys, but when my car needs an oil change, I pay $30,000 for a new car. I get all the latest features that way too. That's right, Sean. You
now you're on
as
to
it
it.
as it should be, as it should be, as we all should be doing. All right, so we're gonna stick this sucker back on. So this is a new TriStar chip, and so this, for me at least, is kind of part of a diagnostic tool itself. Just replacing this chip probing the chip, and it's a data handling chip, so it's more like a brain than a heart. And it's, you know, really difficult to query it. Giving it the imperceptible nudge. So what we do, it's a fairly straightforward just thing to replace the chip. So we'll replace it to use that as a diagnostic tool. And then if that solves the problem, then that kind of points to, yep, that was TriStar. And if it doesn't solve the problem, then, you know, without chatting and a whole lot of, you know, chitter chatter, then it's straightforward to just replace TriStar, see if that works. And if not, then continue on with troubleshooting. All right, so we're gonna let this cool down for a second, and then we'll test and we'll see what's up. All right, what do you think about the iPhone 10? I think the iPhone 10 is a piece of crap. This is the worst phone ever. Let's just see. Why don't we see whether or not this phone can connect to Wi-Fi, which the Wi-Fi router is maybe 15 feet away from me. Let's just see if it can. Let's see. Let's check. No internet connection, look at that. See, iPad Rehab public, no internet connection. You can see the router up there next to the WD-40. Nope, can't do that, that's too far.
It's too far.
It's too far, can't do it. The GPS, it has screwed me so many times. It will just track along by, you know, whatever it feels like it, you know, kind of miles in the past. Like, oh, look. In fact, I think that phone still thinks I'm in France. All right, let's see. iPhone 10 sucks. Could not like it for some reason, especially not having the fingerprint scanner. If it's just me or something, you can feel the lasers hitting your eyes. Not on mine, because, you know, the face ID, that doesn't work. Just doesn't work. Doesn't work like everything. And I'm surprised, you know, that these are under warranty. iPhone 10, it's supposed to be super duper waterproof. You know, we should not be seeing. I've only seen, I think, one iPhone 8, but there's 3 or 4 iPhone 10 sitting there right now. So that is what I think of the iPhone 10.
Well, the newest iPhone is always what they want you to get.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was happy to fix the SE yesterday because that is a great phone. It doesn't get sort of these bendy problems that other ones get. All right, so we'll see whether or not changing TriStar. Now, from what when you just gave me that little bit of extra history, another buzzword jumped out at me, which was kind of it changing its mind on the battery percentage.
Yeah.
So that points to the kind of brother chip, the Tigris chip. So Tigris is where that battery data plugs into on the phone. And both of those chips, TriStar and Tigris, are charger facing, meaning that they're facing that 5 volts, this 5 volts here from the brick. Mm-hmm. And TriStar is just more finicky because it's a brain chip instead of a, you know, like a heart chip. All right, so let's see. Let's see what happens if we ask it to do anything now. All right, so now we have a change. So this is your same battery. See that? Mm-hmm. Let's make it so that, this is too hard. Where's this stupid thing? All right, here we go. All right, so this is now Amy's native battery that before did absolutely nothing. And now it is consuming charging current. And when we push the button, you can see that it has the low battery icon now. So that's different than when you walked in here. Mm-hmm. So as it is right now, the only change that we've made is changing TriStar.
Yeah,
so
that didn't show me the battery icon before.
Right. And we can see that it is consuming charging current. And so that tells us that if you kind of let it sit here long enough, this is going to charge and boot. So now that test, that changing TriStar, saved us that was just really from experience. And that's hard to teach if you're Apple, right. The experience to just know that, yeah, even though it booted with the new battery, and we could have put the battery in, you would have left, it would have charged, and it would have been on. That the moment it got to be a 0, then it would be, you'd be back in here And if you are a shop that doesn't micro solder, that can be really tough on you, because the general shop would typically think, hey, I must have sold them a bad battery, so you'll put in another battery and it'll be the exact same problem again. That's tough for independent repair, because you're sending people out in the world that maybe won't come back when it happens a second time. They're going to conclude, independent guy doesn't know what they're doing, they've sold me 2 bad batteries, when really it was a TriStar fault all along. So if you've got a phone that you see will charge a new battery, but it will not even flicker, it's just 0, 0, it does not respond at all to the battery that's in there, then in my experience, changing TriStar is the diagnostic tool to tell us, to kind of prove, hey, this was a TriStar fault, because now it recognizes that battery, now it's charging that battery, and this phone is going to boot up, and you're not going to have problems with it in my experience. So you're going to be able to go down to the Apple store and say, ha ha, suckers, face. So get your speech prepared.
I'm gonna sit and think about it, and then probably go over there today and take this phone back before
you
do something to it.
Before it gets filled with hay.
Right, like this one. Well, now it's all clean. It's good to go again.
Yeah, it's good to go. All right, let me just check in with chat, and then we'll put all the screws back in that later. There we go. How was Paris? Paris was amazing. You were the one that told me everybody in Paris was an asshole. Is it not true? They were super, super nice.
My sister was just there for her honeymoon.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Did she like it?
Yes, I think this is her third
Oh.
going. She's been there before. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of they were going all over Europe, so
Okay.
it was a stop.
That's
So
an
I don't
awesome
think they're
honeymoon.
still there.
That is right. Hi, are you going to fix Lewis's phone? Lewis doesn't have an iPhone, but sure, set backups quick. All right, welcome back. Missed the last stream, but not this one. Technically, we're done. Let's see. Updated the software for iPhone 10, the YouTube app. Wow, you remembered. Yeah, that's how you get good at phones, is remembering a lot of minutia. Come to Denmark. Maybe one day. All right, we're gonna, put this thing back together and send Amy on her way so that she can get out of here. So it is consuming charging current. There we go. It is charging. We can see the low battery icon. This phone is going to charge up, and it's going to be perfectly fine, and she'll be on her way. And she'll get to
I can back my phone up for real and take this $600 phone back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, save $600. That's a pretty good day.
That's a good day.
Alrighty. Okay, and we're gonna come back and do some of these small town real repair. These are the stories of folks that walk into iPad Rehab. Amy lives down the street and had no idea that we do this kind of stuff, so we need to get the word out, and we'll try to share this. I think every small town should have a repair shop. And I think that everybody should be aware when they go to the Apple store that it's institutionalized repair. They're going to tell you institutionalized answers. If there's anything wrong with your phone, they're going to tell you to replace it, because that's the easiest, fastest, most efficient way to get you out their door and be happy. But that's not always your only answer, especially if you have data on your phone. Definitely it's worth it to go pursue it. We're training lots of people. If you have a repair shop, come to iPad Rehab and get trained so that you can offer these kind of services, that you don't get yourself screwed when you sell somebody a battery when it actually was a TriStar fault all along. Figure this stuff out. There's so many phones out there, and people's lives depend on them. And it's something that should be repaired at the local level. So check us out at iPadRehab.com for all of your supply, tools, training, and mail-in repair. And that is going to be it for us. We will see you next time. And hi, Amy's dad.
I'll definitely show him.
Come stop by anytime.
He's going to think this place is really cool.
Yeah. All right.
So.